Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. But first, we'll start with the energy of the Two of Swords. We are in that airy place, Cancer. We are in our heads, aren't we? We are very in our heads. And it seems like for the last while you have been, because you have had to be. Things have been stressful. I can feel that. Things have been uncertain. I can also feel that. But you're coming into a place of understanding, a place where you're beginning to see things play out. You've employed your will and it's taking its course. I feel a sense of peace really with this energy. Of course, it is the peace card, but there is a sense of coming into the right place. Your perception is aligned with a sense of ease. Now, I felt inclined because, it is the full moon in Cancer today as I do this reading. I felt inclined to pull two cards. Now we also have the Six of Cups, which is all about meeting a place of opening, of letting the waters flow. A little bit of enjoyment, maybe even a little bit of indulgence. But these two cards together, ooh, baby, this is the energy I like to see. I'm here for it. I would like to join in. It feels good. I mean, I feel like you're in a place where, it's not like top of the mountain, joyous elation necessarily, but there's a sense of like quieting of the mind, being able to just feel the goodness of things, to kind of have your fingertips in the honey of life, if that makes sense, the subtleties, the blessings. All right, let's see what these tea leaves are going to tell us. I again want to say thank you for being here. It is always such a great honor and pleasure for me to be able to bring these messages to you. Now, we are into the new year, 2026. We also have, it looks like, the number 56 up here, right in the tea leaves. 5, 6, okay. And it's always a good time as we come into a new gateway or a created marker, a passage that we kind of mark as maybe a rite, or maybe it's just kind of watching the seasons turn, It is a good time to set our intentions, of course, right? We do our New Year's resolutions. We kind of take inventory of the last months of our life, the last year, the last decade, whatever, right? And then, we kind of make a little plan for ourselves, hopefully. I also think that this is a time where we have to kind of balance ourselves, right? Now we're in the high season, so we are in winter, we are in summer. It's a good time to get balanced, to bring things back to their base, right? Clean the house out a little bit. Tighten up that schedule. And I mean tighten it by get rid of the stuff you don't need to be doing. Give yourself some more time. And I hope everybody, and if you would like to share, I hope everybody's kind of had a little prayer for themselves, a little hope for themselves, a little goal, a little resolution, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. If you want to share, put it in the comments, because I'm interested. I'm starting a new operation soon. I am ending an operation that's been going for a few years now, and this is magical operation. Coming into a new one here pretty soon. And my other one is to learn, I've been learning jujitsu. My next thing is I want to learn how to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, do knife fighting training. I want to learn some hand-to-hand combat. That's my other resolution. All right, let's get going. So it feels like we have a group of 3. We have 3 people. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, we have a lot of love. We have a lot of, I feel like, shifting dynamics. That's the big thing I'm picking up here. There is a sense of, it could be family, like a family unit, right? It could be a group of friends. It feels like there are often moments where you are being, at least you perceive yourself to being like left out. Like you feel left out. Okay, let's just be real. You feel like these other 2 people have a closer relationship than you do. But I feel like there's a lot of maybe getting in your own way here. I feel like you are loved and beloved. You are wanted by these people. You are appreciated and, and all the things. But I think that for whatever reason, the other 2 people in your life, and this could be like, well, like my situation, it's my husband and I and my daughter, right? And sometimes, yeah, you feel like, oh, they're getting along better and she wants to hang out with him more and whatever. And sometimes I can feel like, oh, I feel a little left out. And I know that's not very mature, but listen, it happens, especially when you're a very close family. And maybe not, I don't know. We're very close. So, like, we're always together, us as a family. So, I can only speak from that experience, but I can tell you that, yeah, sometimes, and it doesn't have to make sense. It can be completely irrational even, right? And then there are other times where, my daughter and I, we vibe, and my husband, he, also a Cancer, can definitely feel a little bit like the third wheel, and he's said that before, But that doesn't make it true, right? It could be true to you. You could feel that it's true, but for everybody else, it might feel like, well, we wanted you to be here. We wanted you to take the lead. We wanted you to be, equally involved. Now, this could be like, what if you're like, 3 siblings? You feel like the one that doesn't get, included as much. Maybe it's at work. You have work besties. And they just seem to be a little bit more involved. Now here, I want to say, your feelings are valid. I don't care if they make sense or not. I'm always going to tell you, your feelings are valid, but they also are very transient. Right? What does that mean? They are shifting. They are moving and evolving and changing, and they don't need to stay here forever. So, yeah, sometimes we have these moments of, I feel like the one that's left out. I'm the one that's always working the hardest for this relationship. I'm the one that's always reaching out the most, and then they don't reach out to me. All these feelings, and we've all had them, and I don't mind. If you know me, if you've been here, I don't mind putting myself out there and telling you I'm a flawed person. And I felt a lot of the icky feelings, and I have often, and I sometimes get stuck in them. And I'm not proud of that. But it's real, and that's true, and that's the work that I've been doing, right? So, I don't feel bad saying it here, and I hope, and it is my hope, in the way that I share so much of my own experience, that you can stand beside me and feel how you feel. Sometimes it takes somebody just being very radically honest and selfish with the time and sharing about themselves to make us feel like we can stand next to them and say, yeah, I also have felt something like that, maybe. And that's okay. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay for us to feel things that we are ashamed of, or feel things that we don't usually feel, or we wouldn't normally, or like it doesn't make sense. And yeah, but we don't marry ourselves to it. And that's the point here. We do not marry ourselves. I need a drink of water here. We do not marry ourselves to those feelings. And so I feel like so much of the work for you here and this triad that you find yourself, and let me be clear, it does feel like a holy triad. This does feel like a very important relationship dynamic for you. And this year will be about, well, I think learning to process some of the stuff that you feel. And that doesn't seem like, a very interesting life goal, maybe. Or, like a real prettier or I don't even know, really attractive goal, like knife fighting. But it's the most important. It's one of them. Just learning, just even if you spend a year learning to pause for 2 seconds before you start yelling. Doesn't sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but if you are a yeller, if you are a rager, if you have those impulses to protect self by being that, on your defense like that, or offense, it could be, if it's aggressive like that, yeah. To have those 2 seconds more of, okay, let me think, that's a long time when you're about to pop off. 2 seconds? That's a long time. You could work on that for many years trying to get there. In a year, if we put ourselves to task, we hold ourselves accountable, we are disciplined in the work, we can do it. You can get those 2 seconds. So whatever it is that this comes from and how you react to it, even if it is just the inner self-talk, the I am not as well liked, I am not as well received, whatever. They don't, think about me. They didn't consider this. Nobody called me. Nobody told me. All these things that we tell ourselves. And sometimes it's true and sometimes it's just not, right? I see you really working through this so you can have better relationships. Now, how you're going to do this is up to you, of course. But I do feel like, and I turn it this way a little bit, I do feel like there is a sense of almost like, what's the word? Like a festival, carnival, going to something that is joyful. I see almost like music. You're dancing in the street. I wonder if there is travel. It feels like it's not super far off, like you're going to another country or something, but it does feel like there will be some kind of trip this year. You with your 3, and the 3 are important. I can't emphasize enough how involved with this dynamic you're going to be in the next year. And it feels good. It actually feels like turning a corner. And a lot of that is about the self-work, right? The rest of it is about the alignment of the 3. Okay, so I do see you traveling somewhat, but most of all, and this is important, I see you partaking in joy together. I see you partaking in joy together. What does that feel like? Because that's not something we often have or get or receive or have the great honor of experiencing, is a unified kind of burst of energy of joy. Dance is one of those things. I'm not big into clubs or anything anymore. I was never like a big club person. I went to a lot of raves and shows. I was into music and hip hop and stuff like that, of course, but not so much clubs. I went to clubs, but I wasn't going to clubs. But listen, these are one of the access points we have, right? These places where people come together to dance, to feel. It's sensory, top to bottom. Now, you don't have to go to a loud music thing. You could go anywhere, really. Nature is a great one, right? That feeling of awe, of belovedness, standing at, the whatever, you've gone through a trail, you've hiked, you've maybe not gone up to the top of the mountain, but you had a nice little hike up to a cliff up there, and you look over and you're looking in the ravine and it's beautiful, and you're there with your people, and it is a shared moment of joy. Okay, so I feel like this is going to be the big healing point for you this year. The work, not easy, especially for a Cancer. I know you operate well doing your own thing. You really do. But this year is not going to be so much about that. This is going to be about your relationships. Now, we also have, again, the 3 all on horses this time. Okay, so it is the movement. You are within a collective that is evolving. There is a lot of growth in this year for you. I feel like there's an openness of the heart that hasn't been there maybe ever. I think you are learning to love and love deeply and love openly and honestly. And I think that also is some of the hardest work that we could ever do. Now, we also have a person standing on top of a large fish right here. I feel like financially, this is going to end up being one of your best years. I know that's a big thing to say, but I do feel like you are going to have opportunity here that you just didn't even imagine, right? This isn't necessarily something that you have set up for yourself like 100%, you're out like looking for this opportunity, although you are open to it and you are laying the groundwork, right? But there's something here that is going to give itself to you. Okay, at least offer itself to you. You will have an opportunity that is going to allow you to have a really important financial year, a good one. Now, that doesn't promise, and I'm sorry, I'm talking away from the mic. That doesn't promise that the money will be spent well. Okay, let me just be clear about that. Or saved or invested. Well, that's up to you. Okay, that is up to you. Now, I also just want to see here. So we have that like Loch Ness monster, which actually is really a wonderful sign for me personally, as it is a reminder, it is a marker of always finishing your work. Okay, there's lore within Western occultism, Western Hermeticism, or Thelema, that the Loch Ness monster was maybe a thought form, a tulpa, Gregor, that was employed or deployed, really, because Crowley, Aleister Crowley, of course, he was doing, I think the Born List. I don't remember what the working was that he was doing at Boleskine, but he had this house, right? He had this house. It was at the lock. He was doing magic. Something happened where I think he had to go back to like Italy or something. Maybe he was sick or somebody was sick or I don't know. Something happened. He had to leave his work, his operation. He did not close off his operation. And as far as I know, he never went back to close it off. Now, don't quote me on that part, but I'm pretty sure he never went back. Maybe he went back and didn't finish the operation. I don't know, but it was never finished. So there is this idea that the lock is actually, well, kind of, haunted, enchanted. It is being, dwelled by whatever came through during that work. Now, I don't know. Obviously, I have no idea. But this, to me, when I see the Loch Ness monster, I don't think of like, a cool dinosaur. I think about, don't be messy. Do not be messy, unless that's your intention, unless that's your work style. Do not be messy. We open, we close, right? We don't just let things run wild, unless that's your work, right? Unless you're a berserker or something. But yeah, so this to me tells me, through and through, you have to be meticulous, okay? Whatever work you are doing it well. Your heart is opening. Your connections with people are becoming more and more bound. And honestly, I feel like you are looking at yourself very truthfully. Not through the eyes of somebody else. Like a lot of us have these meta perceptions of ourselves. We believe about ourselves what we think other people believe about us. Because we don't really know what they think. We can't. Right? We just guess at what they think. And then we base like a belief off of that. We got to get away from that. That's too many degrees of perception, right? So we get to how do we perceive ourselves? Right? What is the true that we feel about our authentic being? And all the other stuff too. All of the layers and personas and, whatever. But to be able to get to that's big work too. And to really, I think, have deeper relationships, not only with other people, but with ourselves, we must do that work. Where we're very honest with ourselves about our wonderful achievements, our talents, our abilities, but also where we lack. And really beyond all that, because none of that really matters, What do we actually want? And if we want something that we feel guilty about or shameful about, what does that mean? Why do we feel that way about what we really, truly want? And that's the work. And I feel like you are doing that work because you are able to connect on these deeper levels. So, it's going to be a good year. That's what I'm saying. All of that is to say it's going to be a good year, Cancer. All right, let's do our lucky numbers and then we're going to get out of here. Number 46. Number 100. And 51. 46, 100, and 51. All right. Well, I love you, Cancer. Of course I do. I thank you for being here with me. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, please do. Check out some of my lives. Go check out my husband's channel over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's wonderful. Tell him I sent you over. Yeah, other than that, again, I love you. We'll talk soon. Goodbye.